Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to live coverage of the 10th round of the 2020 Global Mazda MX5 Cup presented by BF Goodrich. We are getting ready to go here in Millville, New Jersey for race number 2 of the weekend, setting us up for the final weekend of racing in 2020 when we head to when we leave the New Jersey Motorsports Park and head to the streets of St. Petersburg Grand Prix in just 2 weeks' time. If you tuned in and watched round number 9, good call. That was the right idea. If you didn't, boy, am I sorry, because Jared Thomas scored his first ever win in Global Mazda MX5 Cup history, this being his rookie season. It took him 9 races to stand on top of the podium, but boy, was it not easy, because the drag race out of the final corner down to the finish line between he and Spark Performance's Gresham Wagner, the closest finish in Global Mazda MX5 Cup history. Incredibly tight drag race to the finish line that saw Jared Thomas getting the victory out ahead of Gresham Wagner by 9/10,000ths of a second. Jared Thomas will lead the field to the green flag here for round number 10, race number 2 of the weekend. The big news, though, Robert Nowaker, scheduled to start up near the front of the field. He could not get the car to fire and leave the false grid. He will have to start from the pit lane. The field making their way around the track now. Let's confirm exactly where Nowaker was supposed to start. P5. P5 is where the driver from neighboring Pennsylvania was supposed to see the green flag. It's Jared Thomas, Michael Carter on the front row, Gresham Wagner and Justin Piscatel in row number 2. Nowaker was scheduled to start 5th alongside Celine Roland. Robert Stout, Luke Oxner, Jackson Robillard, and Dan Williams were the top 10. They come out of the final corner. Robert Nowaker has reclaimed the championship point lead, but what will happen here? With issues in the pre-grid, the field comes down 2 by 2 by 2. Aaron Likens, what do you say? Let's go racing. Green flag in the air, and the field takes off. And, folks, there is no Robert Nowaker. He's down there at the end of pit lane. He has to wait for the field to get by him, and he will then be released to join the on-track action. And it's going to be Michael Carter trying to go around the high side in turn number 1. Carter trying to use the outside front row starting spot to take the lead, and it looks like he will secure it. Carter grabs the top spot. Gresham Wagner slots into P2 after starting on the inside of the second row. And there you see the number 13 of Robert Nowaker. He will have not had the opportunity to take pace laps, warm up his tires. So this first lap is going to be a lot of work to get that car underneath him and where he needs it. Field making their way towards the second half, the backside of the racetrack, out of turn 4, through the left-hander, turn number 5. Here they go. Lap 1 underway here, and Michael Carter, the off-pole starter, who was going for the pass for the lead heading into turn 1 after the white flag flew in race number 1 this morning. He clipped the inside curbing while trying to pass his teammate Jared Thomas. He spun around and ended up finishing outside of the top 5 before they got back to the finish line. And with only 2 points separating himself to Robert Nowaker, when Robert Nowaker got a podium in third place position, it ate that deficit back up and gave Nowaker the championship point lead once again. Carter in second place. Here they come as he leads on track, but he's second in the championship standings. Wagner in P2, and it's his Spark Performance teammate, Celine Roland, in third position. Behind them, Jared Thomas trying to hold off Robert Stout, and it looks like Justin Piscatel. So Piscatel, the 2010 winner here, driving for Maverick this weekend, trying to find his way around Jared Thomas. Thomas not having a favorable start at all. Certainly that doesn't mean he can't go back-to-back and repeat in victories here at New Jersey. It just means it's going to take a lot more work. Robert Nowaker, keep an eye on him. He just clicked off a minute 40.872. That is quicker than the 2 cars directly in front of him. And then the next driver he's going to have to focus on is Matt Dirks, who's in 12th currently. Dirks just clicked off a minute 40.358 on the first lap under green flag conditions. Field making their way around the right-hander. Turn number 6, sending him around to this backside of the racetrack here. 4 long right-handers that all feed into each other. spending so much time with all the weight and all the pressure of these MX5 Cup cars sitting all the way on the left side when you've got all that steering input to the right and the cars fighting to get down to the right side of the track. All of that weight is getting forced hard on the left front and the left rear BF Goodrich tire, and the rear ends are just sliding so much. They're cheese grating across the pavement. Now Gresham Wagner has reeled in Michael Carter. He knows that if he's going to make a pass, it has to be early here because, A, track position's very critical here because it's tough to make any passes for position. Right here in turn one, the camera angle you're seeing, that's the prime passing opportunity because it's the biggest braking zone on the entire racetrack. So Gresham Wagner is there. Jared Thomas still fighting as Robert Stout and Justin Piscatell keep throwing haymakers at each other as they come into turn 3A. The right-left-right complex that makes up that turn 3 complex, the S's section of the chicane section, rather, of the racetrack. Boy, Gresham Wagner, they did something to that number 5 car back in the Spark Performance garage area because that car is looking a lot better than it did. It's just right up there in the front. Carter doesn't have any help now. If you remember race 1 this morning, round number 9, Thomas got out from the pole position and led, and then he had his teammate, Michael Carter, kind of, not necessarily playing defense, but if anybody was going to get to Thomas, they had to go through Carter first, right? And ultimately nobody could until the white flag lap when Carter tried to go for the race lead, washed out, got around, spun, and ended up finishing outside the top 5. Thomas was able to hold off Gresham Wagner barely to score his first win in Global MX5 Cup competition. But now the Carter Racing Enterprise drivers are broken up. You got Jared Thomas coming across the line last time by in 4th position. That's where he's going to be this time. Carter, Wagner, roll on the top 3. Then it's Jared Thomas, Robert Stout, Justin Piscatell, Luke Oxner. Behind Oxner, Dan Williams for Copeland, Kevin Conway, who was your Hard Charger Award-winning driver in round number 9 this morning. Jackson Robillard running P10, Bashura 11th, Dirks 12th, Hicks in 13th, Jesbray in 14th, and Robert Nowaker scored last time by in 15th. Let's keep an eye out for him because remember, the young man out of Pennsylvania, 2.5 hours from home. This is his home racetrack. He's got friends and family here watching, supporting, and cheering him on this weekend. He scored his 8th podium result in 9 races earlier this morning. With the exception of round 8 at Mid-Ohio, Robert Nowaker stood on the podium every single weekend and every single round here in 2020. Field making their way. The leaders are into the 4 right-handers over by the Villas alongside the Thunderbolt configuration here at New Jersey Motorsports Park. We talked about the championship point shakeup. Remember, Michael Carter came in to this weekend with a 2-point advantage over Robert Nowaker. Well, after Michael Carter's spin on the last lap, knocking him off the podium and out of the top 5, Robert Nowaker takes a 4-point advantage in the championship fight. He is now back on top. Nowaker is the point leader, but if the race were to finish right now, Michael Carter gets maximum points. He's leading if he can set the quickest lap of the race, which let's look right now. He is a minute 32.477. Nope. Gresham Wagner would currently get the point for the fastest lap of the race because he is a 31.782. But watch out, because Robert Nowaker just laid down his quickest lap of the race, a 32.082. He's almost a full second. That time he was a full second. He was over a full second quicker than John Jesbray, who he is reeling down right in front of him. Leaders making their way around. Man, Carter and the Spark Performance drivers of Gresham Wagner and Celine Roland all over each other. I mean, they are as close as you can be while still running single file. Michael Carter's your leader. Gresham Wagner in second. They come through turn number 6. Then behind them, round number 9 winner from this morning, Jared Thomas, trying to keep Robert Stout and Justin Piscatell right behind him. There you see the wide shot, turn 7, 8. And then right when they leave frame from this shot, they'll be in that tight, short radius, right-handed, turn number 9, right before the track snaps quickly back to the left, which is where they're at right now. They got to fight the car back to the inside, and then they'll run through the S's right here, 11A and 11B, before heading to turn number 12. And we saw it in the final lap of the race this morning. you can make a huge run. I said when they were right there in turn 12, I go, I don't think Gresham Wagner's close enough. Well, he was plenty close enough, and he was able to pull right up alongside the race leader, Jared Thomas, and give him an absolute run for his money. It still went Jared Thomas's way, but it almost didn't. Again, 9/10,000ths of a second separating Jared Thomas and Gresham Wagner in the fight for the race win earlier today in round number 9. Field makes their way up over the hill in turn number 2 now through 3A, B, and C. They'll set up for a run up the hill. Once they crest that hill, they find themselves in turn number 4, and then immediately, once they turn in, the track starts to fall back downhill, and drivers make their way into the left-hander turn number 5. We pick them up right there. There goes Thomas, Stout, Piscatel, and Luke Oxner. That's the fight for 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Luke Oxner in the 77 running in P7. Piscatel in the number 9 for Maverick, right ahead of him in 6th. Robert Stout trying to rebound with as strong of a result as possible after the heartbreaker that saw him lose a wheel over in turn number 6. That quick right-hander on the far side of the racetrack. Obviously, an issue you never want to see. The good news was the car was mostly repairable. Whatever happened, they were able to work on, get fixed back up thanks to the hard work of the guys at White Racing, and Stout is back out on track here for round number 10 here in 2020. Leaders make their way through turn 12. Carter able to put just a tiny bit of breathing room between himself and Gresham Wagner, but Wagner closes right back up on him in the draft. Doesn't take a look, not yet, not now, as they head in to turn number 1. How about third place, Celine Roland? How does he look? Minute 32, 1:10. But Gresham Wagner still quickest, minute 31, 7:82. So again, championship bonus point going to the driver in each race that lays down the fastest lap. You're also going to get a point if you lead the most laps, and the pole position earns a point as well. So Jared Thomas locked up both bonus points when he scored the pole position in qualifying yesterday for both rounds 9 and 10. Okay, most laps led. We're not even to the halfway point of this one, so it's still up for grabs. But if Carter can stay there and continue to lead and continue to click off laps, he's going to get that bonus point. Then it comes down to fastest race lap, which as it runs right now is Gresham Wagner. So you've got 3 bonus points on the table each and every race: pole position, most laps led, fastest race lap. And right now, every single bonus point goes to a different driver. If Carter can hold on to the win, he gets awarded 30 points. And then if, like we said, he gets most laps led, it's 31. If he gets most laps led and quickest lap, it's 32 points. So the most points these drivers can score in each round of competition, 33. That's exactly what Gresham Wagner did at Mid-Ohio a few weeks ago in round number 7 when he was able to score the pole, lead the entire race, drive away, and pick up the win with the fastest lap. Actually, I should be careful. I don't know if he laid down the quickest lap at Mid-Ohio, so maybe fact check me on that one. But Carter knows that if he wants to win this championship and the $200,000 that come with it from Mazda, he has got to get as many points as possible. Nowaker has just now gotten up to the 13th position. I mean, there's over 30 minutes still to go. I'm not going to say he can't do it, but with passing being as difficult as it is here at New Jersey Motorsports Park, he's got his work cut out for him. There's no way around it. There's not a track on the circuit that you think, oh, man, it's easy. You can pass absolutely anywhere you want there. But Road America has so many different passing opportunities. Down at the end of the front straightaway, coming down the hill, getting ready for the left-hander, turn 5. Heck, even at the top of the hill, going into turn 6, drivers can make something happen there. Over in Canada Corner, prime passing opportunity at Road America. Mid-Ohio, the keyhole. Big opportunity right there. Coming through Madness, through 5, 6, and 7 in Thunder Valley, or in that last complex of corners, drivers can make passes for position happen. But, man, at New Jersey, there's not as many passing zones, and you throw on top of that how much tire degradation these drivers are having to deal with over the course of a race. The weather here in Millville, New Jersey, changing drastically from the start of the weekend back on Friday to now, race number 2, Sunday afternoon. Rain is forecasted in the area. Hopefully, and I don't believe any radar is showing it getting here in the next 30 minutes. And that's good news for the Global MX5 Cup drivers because, this race is timed. They race for 45 minutes, start to finish. Noaker working on Alex Bashura, going down the front straightaway. Noaker to the inside of Bashura. He's got it, and he's through. So move Noaker. Man, he is just cutting through him up to 10th place. So Noaker goes from 15th to 10th. In just about, he had completed lap number 8. He was on the start of lap number 9 when he got around Bashura. So, I still stand by what I said. It's going to be difficult for Noaker to get up to the front and fight for a podium position. But, boy, that's what MX5 Cup racing is all about. Not necessarily caring about where you start, but knowing that you have to pass as many cars as possible. And Noaker knows that he's got the work cut out for him. Sounds like a fuel pump relay went out on the 13. That's what the guys from Copeland were telling me, and that's crazy. It can be sometimes just such a small, simple part, and it can really wreck a massive race weekend or a season if it happens at the wrong time. But it sounds like, I didn't ask Copeland if they helped specifically, but I imagine they did, because that's the nature of the MX5 Cup garage area. Everybody jumps in to help everybody, and if you're going to win, you want to do it by beating the guy out on track, not by him sitting in pit lane, not able to get his car to start. So it was obviously a community effort to help get Noaker's number 13 fired up and rolling out on track. And it's good to see. Field comes by. There goes Oxner in the 7th position, rather. Now Robert Noaker lines right up behind. That's Kevin Conway, I believe, in the 67. Noaker pulls right up alongside. He says hi. Then Noaker says bye-bye because he goes to the inside and takes over the spot to get even deeper inside the top 10. So Noaker, 15th to 10th, then to 9th, now to 8th. But then, see, that's when you look at the drivers in front of him and you realize that it's going to get a lot tougher. It's going to get a lot tougher because he's got Luke Oxner in the number 77, a podium finisher here in the Global Mazda MX5 Cup. You've got Justin Piscatel, a former winner here at the New Jersey Motorsports Park. Robert Stout, former Rookie of the Year here in the Global Mazda MX5 Cup. Jared Thomas, the driver who won this morning. And then your podium drivers are Celine Roland, Gresham Wagner, and Michael Carter, who, if the race finished right now, Carter would be the championship point leader. Robert Noaker is trying to keep that from happening. The sky is continuing to get darker and darker over the 2.25-mile-long 12-turn circuit they call Thunderbolt here in Millville, New Jersey. What a track, what a facility that the New Jersey Motorsports Park is. Not on the schedule originally for the drivers and the teams of the Global Mazda MX5 Cup presented by BF Goodrich, but boy, as crazy as 2020 has been, are we fortunate to get to come to a racetrack like this, steeped in U.S. history. The track located something like less than 500 yards from the Millville Municipal Airport, formerly an Army air base. It was the first defense station commissioned by the U.S. military. And as I talk about the history, these drivers are out there throwing it down right now. Sounds like a change for position up at the front of the field. Let's check in here. So it looks like Gresham Wagner's gone to P1. Gresham Wagner picks his spot beautifully and gets around for the top spot. So I'll quit blabbering about history here because these drivers are starting to get racy with just under 30 minutes to go, because you wonder, how long does Michael Carter let Gresham Wagner sit up there? And what about Celine Roland? Celine Roland, the second Spark Performance car in the top 3, is going to want to go with his teammate Gresham Wagner. Celine Roland doesn't want to sit back in third and run behind Michael Carter, allowing Carter the opportunity to score even more points. If he's able to hold on to second, Roland's going to start putting the pressure onto Carter here very quickly. And I was talking about how great this track is, how cool the history of the area is, the fact that the U.S. military started their defense in World War II at this property. And you think about all that, and you realize in 2008 they had the vision to build this really great racetrack, and over 10 years later, the track is holding up phenomenally well. The pavement is smooth. Yeah, it's causing tire degradation, but there's not patch jobs everywhere. There's not giant creases from one side of the track to the other. It's an abrasive type of asphalt, and that's what's causing I mean, that's part of what's causing drivers to have so much tire wear. The other big factor is here, so many long sweeping corners. Think about turns 2 and 3 at Barber Motorsports Park, if you're familiar with that track. Look it up if you're not. You run down the front straightaway, it's a left-handed downhill turn number 1, but then 2 and 3, you're in the corner forever. I mean, you're constantly have the steering wheel to the right for a very long period of time at the start of a lap at Barber. Well, just focus that and take that kind of layout and you put it on the second half of a lap here at New Jersey Motorsports Park. These MX5 Cup drivers, they don't have a rear wing. They don't have something that's shoving these rear tires down into the ground. So you ask any of these MX5 Cup drivers or engineers up and down pit lane, and they'll tell you the back end of the car, anywhere we go, is gradually sliding. Yeah, they're not drifting the car, but it's stepping out on them constantly. You have to drive these MX5 Cup cars kind of like a sprint car on pavement because there's no grip in the rear. There's nothing giving these guys rear bite. So the car is constantly sliding the rear tires across the pavement, and you just have to think about the surface here at New Jersey like a cheese grater. And as the cars go through those long right-handed corners in 6, 7, and 8, does Michael Carter take a look here in turn number 1? No, he stays in line. But as these guys go through turns 6, 7, and 8, and 9, those tires are just constantly scraping laterally across the pavement, and that is why we see such high tire degradation. You couple that with low number of passing opportunities, and that's what's making these races so critical at the start especially, and that's what makes qualifying so critical. Heck, just ask Robert Noaker. He's down in 10th right now, it shows last time by. Let's try to find him as the leaders make their way around the track. Gresham Wagner, Michael Carter, Celine Roland, 1, 2, and 3. Then it's Jared Thomas. Looks like Robert Stout should be Justin Piscatel behind him and Luke Ochsner. Should be seeing Conway, Bashura, and Noaker if we stay on this camera as the field makes their way. Which driver is that right there? Should be Bashura, I believe. There's Robert Noaker. No, Robert Noaker's in front of Bashura. It's Kevin Conway. So Kevin Conway in the 8th position, Noaker up into 9th. So Noaker has found himself battling with his Slipstream Performance teammate, Alex Bashura. And every position is worth something here at an MX5 Cup race, and there's no team orders per se, but you got to wonder if Noaker's going to get on the radio here and start hollering that he needs help from Alex Bashura to let him go. I mean, they're somewhat teammates, and Michael Carter right up underneath the rear bumper of Gresham Wagner as they go down into turn number 1. Let's take a look here and look for Robert Noaker and Kevin Conway and Alex Bashura. They should be coming down the front straightaway this time. Here we go. A couple cars coming out with the headlights on, streaking across the start-finish line. There's Conway in the 67. Noaker now up to 8th. Where is Bashura? Looking for the... Bashura's down in 14th. Here he comes. Is that Bashura coming up pit lane? No. Yes, it is. So a drive-through penalty for the 33. Oh, drive-through for the 33 for an incident on track with the 76 of Matt Dirks. And it sounds like rain has been reported in the turn 5 section of the track. So rain has reached Millville, New Jersey. And it's over on the back side of the property, right parallel to the turn 5 comes right up next to 11A and 11B. They run parallel to each other, which means that rain is basically over the top of the racetrack now. Looking out our windows here in the booth, we don't see necessarily anything falling just yet, but I'm getting information that rain has been reported in turn number 5. And then everything that happens from this point on will be in the hands of interim race director from IndyCar, Zach Tasker. He's taking over the reins inside race control this weekend. Racetrack Zach filling in. Normal series race director Kyle Novak from the NTT IndyCar Series having a conflict could not make it here to Millville this weekend. So the series is in the very capable and very experienced hands when it comes to video replay officiating of Zach Tasker. And thanks to our friends at Racetrack Engineering who have supplied the cameras that you are watching this broadcast through right now, Tasker has the ability to go back, replay incidences, find out what caused a situation to happen. That's obviously what led to the penalty for Alex Bashura with the contact on Matt Dirks. But if rain does begin to fall all over the racetrack, it will be up to Zach Tasker and MX5 Cup Race Control what to do. If they choose to declare this a rain race, the race will be essentially full course yellowed. Yellow flags will be put out. Cars will be given the option, unless it's severe, and then they'll be instructed to come down. But I believe they're going to leave it up to the hands of race control to make the decision on what each individual team and car wants to do here. Checking in on the timing now, almost 20 minutes left to go in this one. Where is Robert Noaker having to start the race from the exit of pit lane? Not able to get out on track and take pace laps, so he started even further behind the 8 ball. He's worked up as high as 8th position. He scored in 9th last time by. Let's take a look at him as they come by this time to complete lap number 15. Wagner's your leader. Carter in 2nd. Celine Roland in 3rd. Then in 4th, it's Jared Thomas. 5th, right behind him, Robert Stout. Stout wants to make something happen. Then it's Piscatel and Luke Ochsner. Robert Stout closes right up under braking, but not close enough to make something happen on Jared Thomas in turn 1 for the 4th position. That's 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Here comes 8th place. Is it Robert Noaker? Yes, it is. The number 13 from Pennsylvania up to the 8th position. Behind him in 9th, it's Kevin Conway. Then rounding out the top 10, it's Dan Williams in the 38. Robillard in 11th. Hickson in 12th. Jesbray in 13th. Dirks and Bashura, the 2 cars that were involved in an incident a few laps ago, round out the field. Nope, Dirks now up to 13th. Jesbray 14th. Bashura, after serving his drive-through penalty, quite a ways back in 15th spot. Drivers now making their way into the right-hander. The right-hander. Turn number 6 to start their way around the backside of the racetrack here. Not a lot of change up front. Robert Stout's the driver we're watching right now because he was right up behind the rear bumper of Jared Thomas when they came by to complete lap number 15. Turn 1, corner workers now reporting rain. Corner workers down in turn number 1 reporting rain falling on the track. Still 20 minutes to go in this one. We'll see what race control wants to do. Cars are out on slicks right now. Everybody has come to pit lane with wet weather BF Goodrich tires ready to go should they need them. Let's see if anybody has a problem down in turn number 1. No issues yet, not now, at least not to speak of. What about Robert Stout and that fight for 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th? Stout has gotten around. He's up to P4. Jared Thomas slips all the way to 7th. Jared Thomas, we did not see what happened there, but Thomas goes from just outside the podium to outside the top 5. That moves Luke Ochsner up 2 positions, and it leaves Robert Noaker right behind Jared Thomas here. There's a look at your leaders. Coming into the left-hander, turn number 5. Then that's Robert Stout right there, Luke Ochsner, Justin Piscatel, and Jared Thomas. So Thomas, the car must have just stepped out from underneath him. He didn't spin. He didn't lose a bunch of time. He didn't run off the track, but he has fallen from 4th position. There we have it. Stout, Ochsner, Piscatel, and Thomas. That's 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Then 8th place, Robert Noaker comes into frame. He is quite a ways back. Rain could throw a wrinkle into absolutely everything here. Again, corner workers in turns 5 and turn 1 reporting rain. Still looking out the front straightaway here, the glass. I'm right on top of the start-finish line here, folks, and the flag is blowing. There's plenty of wind, a tailwind, giving drivers a push down the front straightaway here, but I don't see any rain falling yet over the front straightaway. Gresham Wagner leads another lap. Carter in 2nd. Celine Roland a little bit farther back in 3rd. Now Robert Stout up to P4. Luke Ochsner behind him in 5th. Piscatel and Jared Thomas. Let's see if there's any passing for position here. Piscatel takes a look to the inside on Luke Ochsner. Thinks better of it. Tucks back in line. Jared Thomas in 7th. Now, at least 15 seconds later, here comes Robert Noaker in 8th. There goes Kevin Conway in 9th. And rounding out the top 10, Dan Williams for Copeland in that flow yellow, number 38. Hickson and Robillard, 11th and 12th. Dirks, 13th. Jezebray, 14th. And Bashura rounds out your field in 15th. There's a good camera angle right there of cars coming up out of turn number 2. trying to see if we can pick anything up right there. If there's been any moisture starting to fall down, you'll definitely see the track start to have a sheen, a little bit of a shine to it if water is starting to get laid down across the pavement here. Still not really anything to speak of on pit road or the front straightaway as far as changing track conditions. Everybody does have jackets or hoodies on. It is definitely hashtag sweater weather here right now in Millville, New Jersey. The question is, when will it become poncho weather? Boy, they are all over each other in 7, 8, and 9. Robert Stout just trying to keep Luke Ochsner behind him. Ochsner has had such a tough season mechanically and technically speaking, and the delta between the top 3 to 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th is starting to shrink. Here we go, down across the line, 17 minutes to go. Carter runs right up behind Wagner. Does he try anything as 4th, 5th, and 6th join them on the front straightaway? No, everybody stays single file at the top 3. Now it's Robert Stout getting on the brakes as Luke Ochsner closes in right behind him. Justin Piscadell running a little bit, about half a lane more narrow on corner entry. He's not necessarily worried about Jared Thomas behind him just yet. Thomas is close, but not close enough to make anything happen. Gresham Wagner, your leader, still with the fastest lap of the race, so bank 1 bonus point for him if nobody is able to lay down a quicker lap. And due to changing track conditions, I don't think anyone will. Almost 15 minutes left to go in this one. And I think you can say pretty confidently that Gresham Wagner will lock up the bonus point for the fastest lap of this race. But they don't come and they don't race just to set the fastest lap, folks. No. That's a nice little bonus to get that point for being the fastest on track. These drivers, every single one of them, their families, their teams, they put cars on track. They travel all over the United States. They do this 6 weekends out of the year. 12 different times to score wins and chase championships, and that is what everyone on this track is trying to do right now. I don't care if you're Alex Bashora down in 15th after having to serve a penalty, or you're Gresham Wagner leading this thing. Every driver is out here right now. They left pit lane, and they took the green flag with hopes and expectations of winning this race. Gresham Wagner wants to do it, and it just got a little bit easier, I think, because Celine Roland has taken over second place from Michael Carter. So Carter into second. Piscadell pulls to the inside of Ochsner down in turn number 1. That's for 5th place. Piscadell down to the inside of Ochsner. Piscadell is there. He's on the inside, and he's got it. Piscadell up to P5. Luke Ochsner did not get a good run out of 12, and now he's going to have to deal with Jared Thomas. Thomas gets on the brakes here in 3A, and he's able to get back run. So move Jared Thomas back up a position from 7th to 6th. So Thomas gets around Luke Ochsner. He goes to 6th. Piscadell got around Ochsner. He went to P5. Robert Stout loves to see the battling in his rearview mirror because he knows the more those guys continue to race with each other and get side by side, the farther ahead he will pull. Meanwhile, Celine Roland picking up second position. So it's the Spark Performance cars, and I'll tell you what, neither one of those drivers have been happy this weekend. Both Celine and Gresham, when I talk to them, they don't look happy, they don't sound happy, but guess what? Due to Nathaniel Sparks being so ingenuitive and so creative with car setups and never giving up, Sparky has put cars underneath both Roland and Gresham Wagner that they can use to go fight for the race win. Car to pit lane. It looks like it's going to be Alex Bashora in the number 33. He comes to a full stop in front of Kevin Stelly and the Slipstream Performance crew. They're taking a look at the right rear corner of the car. Now Carter tries to battle back down the front straightaway for second position. Carter's going to force his way to the inside. Can Roland brake late enough to hold him off? Down into turn number 1. Roland tries to stick on the high side. Looks like he's going to be able to. We'll cut to the exit out of turn number 2 as they crest the hill. Who has second? Roland able to hold on to it. So Roland still in P2 after Michael Carter gave him the business heading down the straightaway into turn number 1. But Roland would not be shooketh. He could not be intimidated, and he kept his foot in the gas around the high side. And not that he's concerned about it in that very moment, but boy, living around the high side and fighting that car, even in a very short corner like turn 1, it's gonna burn those rear tires. I mean, it is absolutely gonna kill those things. I think you're gonna see that play a role here shortly We're coming up on only 10 minutes left to go in this one. Folks, if you're watching live, round 10 right here at New Jersey Motorsports Park, tweet us at Global MX5 Cup on Twitter. Let us know what you are doing on this fine fall Sunday afternoon, where you're watching from, who you're cheering for, what you're going to have for lunch, maybe what you're even going to have for dinner. Let us know. Tweet us at Global MX5 Cup. We are really grateful to have the help of Pro Racing Group as well as Racetrack Engineering to supply us cameras and then producing a broadcast of the racing here at New Jersey Motorsports Park, as now Roland starts to defend going down into turn number 1. He knows Carter's got the speed out of turn number 12 to try to make something happen. Carter has to be careful, though, because he's been bit by turn 1 before. White flag of round number 9 this morning. Carter threw it down to the inside on his teammate, Jared Thomas, and it did not end well for Michael Carter. So Carter knows that he's got to be patient. He cannot get too aggressive on that slick curbing down in turn number 1. Oh, we got a car off up at the top of turn 2. Oh, is that the sole red of Jared Thomas? Issues. Well, he gets going again. Let's confirm it for you. You see a live shot right there of our exit of turn 2. I'm scared to say it, but I think it is. Yep, that's Jared Thomas, your round 9 winner from just a few hours ago this morning, while battling with Luke Oxner, probably Robert Noaker, Justin Piscatel. He was up in P5 right behind Robert Stout. And Thomas loses control of the car at the top of the hill in turn number 2. And his race isn't over, but his chance at a podium finish certainly is now. Crazy. That just goes to show you nothing is ever guaranteed in Global MX5 Cup. Gresham Wagner now has a lead a country mile wide going down into turn number 1. Let's look at timing and let you know. 1.4 seconds between Gresham Wagner and Celine Roland. And that's exactly, why is that? It's because Roland and Michael Carter continue to drag race with each other. And now as the rest of the field starts to come by, you see Jared Thomas drop down the running order. He's scored in 9th currently. And I think he's going to continue to fall because I saw Dan Williams, I know, pass him. Yeah, here he comes. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, Thomas all the way behind Jackson Robillard. So Thomas is going to go from P5 last time by down to 13th. Oh, that makes you sick. Oh, that makes you sick for the young driver who scored his first ever win just a few hours ago in the closest finish in series history. But if you're wondering if MX5 Cup racing is competitive, if you're wondering if it's easy to do well in this series, well, that's your answer right there. Nothing is guaranteed just because he won. And remember, he started this race from the pole position, but he didn't have a great start. Michael Carter was able to get around him. He slipped back to, 4th, 5th position. He got into a dogfight with Robert Stout, Oxner, Piscatel. And I think, I'm sure if you ask him, as long as there was no other contact involved from another car, I'm willing to bet the car just got away from him. You rise up that hill coming to turn 2, the car loses a lot of grip, and sometimes you just lose it. Now Michael Carter going back to the well as he heads to the inside. He's got the best run he's had all day, and he's going to clear Celine Roland before they even get to the first turn. Michael Carter back up to P2. Inside of 10 minutes to go. Does Carter have enough speed to run down Gresham Wagner? It's a huge gap, 1.6 seconds between P1 and P2 now, but it might be a lot bigger because as they headed into 3A and 3B right there, I think Roland tried to fight back with Carter. Let's take a look as Alex Bashura leaves pit lane. I can't imagine he's going to go back on track. Nope, he takes it to the garage area. Let's see here. Cars making their way into the right-hander, turn number 6. Wagner out in front. Looks like Carter in second. Celine Roland right on his bumper in 3rd position. Yep, so they remain P2, P3. Carter up in front in 2nd. Roland in 3rd. Robert Stout starting to lick his lips because he can see him getting bigger in his windshield. Stout knows, and you know that his dad, Ken, is telling Robert, keep pushing. Don't slow down. Roland and Carter are really just going back and forth with each other. That allows Gresham Wagner to drive away, but it's also going to allow Robert Stout to reel him in. Stout could be on the verge of another podium here this season if Roland and Carter keep battling with each other. Stout last time by laid down a minute 34 flat. Carter was a minute 34.2. Roland a minute 34.3. So Stout was quicker than the two drivers in front of him in big part due to the fact that Roland and Carter continue to battle with each other. Looking at the front straightaway now, drivers coming through. There goes Gresham Wagner in P1, followed by Carter and Roland coming through turn 1. There's Robert Stout in the number 3 for White Racing. He's in the 4th position. They make their way over turn 2 now into the chicane. Wagner using up all the track he can, and it's working. So does Carter. They both dip. Right side BFGs off in the dirt on the inside of the 3A curbing. Behind them, that's a battle we're watching. Luke Oxner trying to get his way around Justin Piscatel for a top 5 finish here in round number 10. Remember, folks, after the checkered flag flies, only 1 weekend of racing left to go and 2 rounds of Global MX5 Cup action when we head to the streets of St. Petersburg, Florida, a track that MX5 Cup has never gone to, and it's been 3 years since MX5 Cup cars raced on a street circuit, Streets of Toronto Grand Prix back in 2017, the last time these cars went around a street circuit. And that's why I talk about tools like the Symmetric Driver Performance Lab being so critical, because no team, you could have come up here to New Jersey Motorsports Park a few weeks ago and rented the track out and done a private team test day. It's expensive, but it's possible. You cannot go to the streets of St. Petersburg, Florida, and test for 2 days and get a notebook filled with information for how to make your car better than everybody else's when we go racing there. It's not possible. The track doesn't exist more than, 50 weeks out of the year. They start building it a week or 2 before the race, and they tear it down the night after. So streets of St. Pete are going to be as unpredictable as anything that we have in Global Mazda MX5 Cup racing. Luke Oxner seems to have gotten around Justin Piscatel. Yes, he has. So move the 77 up to P5. Oxner residing in beautiful northern Colorado, now running in 5th place, minute 34.956. Yep, and all that battling, it slows him down just a little bit. Leaders making their way out of the chicane now. Right-hander turn 4 into the left-hander turn number 5. Wagner's lead has grown to 2.7 seconds. 5 minutes to go here. And the only way that those two behind him, Carter and Roland, are going to catch up to Gresham Wagner this late, they're going to have to just commit to pushing each other and getting there. I don't know. I think Roland is going to fight for every point and every position he can, and you're going to see Carter defend. They're not going to work to help each other. I just don't see it. Thanks to MagSafe for letting us know he's watching Global MX5 Cup from Longview, Texas. Rooting for my friends Justin Piscatel with his car chief, Tim Buck. He'll be at St. Pete, and you can't wait. Well, MagSafe, thanks for watching, man. I wish I was in Texas right now. Well, I wish I was in Texas tomorrow because I'm getting to watch great Global Mazda MX5 Cup racing right now. But that's some cheers for Justin Piscatel and Tim Buck for Maverick in that number 9 car. So, MagSafe, thanks for tuning in and watching. If you are watching the end of this Mazda MX5 Cup race, let us know on Twitter. Hit us up at Global MX5 Cup and let us know where you're watching from, who you're cheering for, and what you're having for lunch, because I haven't had any yet, and I love to be tortured. Sounds like Jesbray might be dragging something out of the back of his number 68. We're trying to get confirmation on that. They're keeping an eye on the number 68 from Migliore. Not a lot of time left to go. Inside of 4 minutes now. Gresham Wagner sitting pretty up at the front of the field. Michael Carter had the championship lead coming into the 9th round this morning. Went for that spin on the last lap. Went from finishing 2nd or 3rd potentially to outside of the top 5, along with Robert Noaker, who was only 2 points back. Noaker stands on the podium, so he picks up the championship point lead by 4 markers before we started round number 10. But Noaker has his own drama. They can't get the fuel pump relay to work. The car struggles to start. He doesn't make it to false grid in time, so he has to take the green flag from pit lane. So he's worked his way from 15th position Patrick Gallagher says we need some rain. Patrick Gallagher, we need some cowbells, what we need. We need you here, Patrick. That's the 2017 series champion hitting us up, hoping for rain. I don't think we're going to get it. Randy Rhodes says he's putting his money on Robert Noaker and Maverick Racing today. Someone else tuning in to watch the broadcast. We're near the end of this one. They're going to see the white flag next time by. So in just about 60 seconds, you're going to see the white flag wave for the final lap of Mazda MX5 Cup Racing here at New Jersey Motorsports Park. And every week, John Doonan and I talk. After he left Mazda Motorsports, he knew it would be tough to say goodbye to this series that he helped create. But every week, we talk, and amongst a lot of things, it's always how much fun, how high the quality of racing is, how close the battles are here in Global Mazda MX5 Cup. That guy loves this series. He did so much to encourage it and get it up off the ground. And I enjoy checking in with John every week and talking to him about what exactly is going on in this series. Heck, for all we know, he's watching right now down in Daytona Beach, Florida. They just wrapped up, John, the new president of IMSA, they just wrapped up a race last night at the Charlotte Roval in North Carolina. And I think we'll be seeing him in St. Petersburg, Florida, because there will be a few IMSA support classes racing there as well. Leaders making their way out of turn number 12 for the final time. Gresham Wagner finds himself in a very different position than the last time he saw the white flag, and that's as the leader, and that's with a large margin. Turns 7, 8, and 9 are now all reporting rain falling in that right-handed complex of corners over by the Villas alongside the Thunderbolt circuit. Doesn't matter now. What you got is what you've got, and you've got to finish with it. Piscatell down to the inside. Oxner tries to cover him, but Piscatell's going to commit to the inside. Piscatell is there. Oxner tries to hold him off in turn 1. Oxner tries to live on the high side. Is he able to keep Piscatell at bay? This is a fight for the top 5. Oxner keeps the position in 5th, but Piscatell comes back to the inside in 3A. Piscatell uses the inside curbing, but Oxner's going to have the left-handed 3B to his advantage to get back out in front. Gresham Wagner with less than half a lap to go now. He makes his way through the right-hander. Turn number 6. He'll have 7, 8, and that very tight, slow turn 9 to navigate before the track bends back to the left, and he's pointed in the direction of the start-finish line and the checkered flag for the 10th time here in 2020. There you see him. He's all by himself. Last time by at the white flag, 2.9 seconds. The margin of the lead from Gresham Wagner back to Michael Carter. This is going to be a big points day for Michael Carter, but Gresham Wagner, after a very up and down second half of the 2020 Global Mazda MX5 Cup season, is going to come through 11A, over the curbs in 11B. He sets sail through turn 12, and Spark Performance and their driver Gresham Wagner win today at New Jersey. The number 5 gets it done. Carter comes home in 2nd, and Roland stands on the podium for Spark Performance in 3rd. Robert Stout gets 4th place for White Racing aboard that number 3 Lucas Oil Racing TV machine. And rounding out the top 5 after a dogfight is going to be the 2010 race winner, Justin Piscatell for Maverick. Luke Oxner loses out in the very end to finish 6th for White Racing. Robert Noaker recovers strongly after having to start from dead last and pit lane. Noaker comes from 15th to finish 7th, solidly inside the top 10. Kevin Conway was your Hard Charge Award-winning driver in round number 9 this morning. He stands inside the top 10 once again after finishing in 8th position. Matt Dirks brings the 3rd White Racing car home in the top 10. All 3 White Racing cars finishing inside the top 10 for Bruce White and his team. Very impressive. Brad Little checking in on Twitter. Melanie Staub, thanks for watching. We miss you and David so much. Brad Little, I miss you. He's at Sonoma Raceway. Melanie, thanks for tuning in and the kind words. We sure do miss you and David. Wish you guys were here. So that's it. Round 10 and MX5 Cup Racing at New Jersey is done. Man, you know what is great about New Jersey and the friendly folks here? When you say you haven't had lunch yet, the local Philly cheesesteak guy brings you one. That's what I'm talking about. If you haven't had lunch yet, go down right underneath the media center here at NJMP, and they're making up some really, really tasty Philly cheesesteak sandwiches. So thanks a bunch, brother. I appreciate that. Conway gets the Hard Charger Award, and I got a Philly cheesesteak. That's an okay day. I like that, don't you? So that's it. Gresham Wagner, your winner. Michael Carter comes home in second with 25 points in the championship fight. Celine Rollon third, Stout fourth, Piscatel fifth, Luke Oxner sixth, Noacre seventh, Kevin Conway back-to-back Hard Charger awards for him. The 2010 NASCAR Cup Series Rookie of the Year, Kevin Conway, finishes in eighth. Matt Dirks ninth. Brian Hickson gets a top 10 for Maverick. Jared Thomas, my oh my, what a tough one for him. He'll finish 11th. Dan Williams 12th. Jackson Robillard 13th. John Jesbray 14th. Big thanks again to his dad for coming up and talking to me. Really great family. Can't wait to see them back, hopefully in 2021. And then Alex Bashura has to finish 15th after a drive-through penalty. So, folks, thanks so much for tuning in and watching. Again, a massive thanks to JP and Kieran and everybody at Pro Racing Group for bringing us a live broadcast of MX5 Cup Racing. That is it from the New Jersey Motorsports Park. I'm going to go enjoy this Philly cheesesteak, and I'm also going to go celebrate in Victory Lane with our top three finishers. Folks, thanks so much for tuning in. In 2 weeks' time, we'll be back on the air with the final weekend, rounds 11 and 12 of Mazda MX5 Cup presented by BF Goodrich Racing, when we head to the streets of St. Petersburg, Florida to crown a champion and hand out over $300,000 in awards and prizes in the Mazda MX5 Cup. I'm Tony Laporta for Mazda MX5 Cup Racing. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you down the road.